am Karlene Karst. I'm a registered dietitian, and I'm the founder and formulator of the Omega-3 SeaLicious line of fish oils. And I'm a mom to 3 children, and I live in Vancouver, British Columbia. One of the things as a dietitian is we try to encourage people to consume fish at least 2 times per week. One of the risks that we know, of course, when we're sourcing fish from the ocean is the increased risk of toxins, especially mercury and other heavy metals that might be lurking in our ocean waters. So we try to balance out the risk and benefit with consuming healthy sources of fatty fish in particular, like halibut, salmon, codfish, and then also increasing the omega-3s from supplements, which we know actually to be deemed more safe than consuming fish, because we're able to control and remove the PCBs and the dioxins and other heavy metals that might be found in the fish source. My inspiration for SeaLicious has really evolved over the past 15 years. The reason I even started in the natural health industry was from a place of need. So I was diagnosed with an autoimmune condition back in my early 20s, and really found that changes in my lifestyle and my nutrition helped improve my symptom management. And it was something that was really profound and really kind of remarkable in terms of how I felt, how my pain levels were under control, how I felt more energetic. And it was something that I just continued to evolve over time, making more changes in my diet and lifestyle. One of the most important introductions, and actually one of the first supplements that I used, were omega-3s. And we know that omega-3 supplements have come a long way over the last 15 to 20 years, especially with the way they taste and with the enjoyment level, I guess you will, of consuming fish oils in a liquid form. So my goal with SeaLicious was to take something which I think is so important for every person, child, man and woman throughout their whole life to use on a daily basis, is omega-3 fish oils. And I wanted to make it taste delicious so that people would enjoy taking, and they'd actually look forward to using their omega-3 supplements every day. And I found that through my work with SeaLicious and the formulations and tweaking of the flavors, that we actually get a yum response when people take it, whether they're 2 years old or adults. So it's something that everybody loves and everybody enjoys taking every day. SeaLicious is a unique product. It's sourced from sardine and anchovy oil, so I love sourcing from those fish species because they're the smallest type of fish in the ocean, and as a result they accumulate the least amount of toxins. And by nature they actually have the highest level of omega-3s. So it's something that we can get what you would say your biggest bang for your buck in terms of dosage. So if you take a teaspoon, you're going to get a maximum level of omega-3s without having to alter or change the constituents of the fish. So this was the starting point. With SeaLicious, of course, the flavor is one of its unique standpoints. And so I worked with an incredible flavor house that helped me develop these unique flavors that are all based on natural fruit extracts. So we've got a tangerine lime flavor, a raspberry lemonade, a tropical colada. Our newest is our natural maple flavor, which is truly a Canadian flavor and has been a really huge hit. And our kids product is the kids cotton candy. So you can see that these are all very unique flavors, and the taste is delicious. And the thing that I love about them is that we're able to deliver such a punch of flavor in a natural way. And SeaLicious also contains an incredible antioxidant known as astaxanthin. And astaxanthin is the most powerful antioxidant in nature, and we were able to incorporate the power of the astaxanthin in with the SeaLicious. So it not only protects the oil in the bottle, but it also helps to protect our cells from any kind of oxidative damage that can happen at the cellular level. So always when consuming omega-3s, we should be looking at incorporating an omega-3 supplement with it. So SeaLicious is able to deliver both the power of the astaxanthin, the natural fruit flavors, along with 1,500 milligrams of omega-3 per teaspoon. And this makes SeaLicious the best choice in omega-3s. The important thing when you're bottling a fish oil, keeping it fresh is of course one of the most important considerations, because quality is critical when delivering omega-3s. And we know that omega-3 fatty acids and polyunsaturated fats in general can oxidize when they're exposed to heat or moisture changes, to light. And so figuring out a way to keep the oil fresh from the time you open the bottle to the time the bottle is finished is actually, it's quite a scientific feat. And so one of the things that is important to me is controlling the environment in which the SeaLicious is bottled. So we start with glass bottles is one of the most important things in helping to keep the freshness there. We also do something called nitrogen purging the bottles before the oil is added in, and this ensures that there's no oxygen present at all, because we know that oxygen will start the oxidative process. SeaLicious is then bottled, and it's capped and sealed in a way that's going to protect the oil. So if it's sitting on the shelf, it's completely fresh and safe until you open the bottle. Once the bottle is open, it's important that you consume and then place back into the fridge to help preserve the freshness of the bottle. We want to try to consume the bottles of SeaLicious within about 100 days, or about 3 months time period. And again, those astaxanthins that I've incorporated in with the oil really help to protect and preserve the oil throughout its shelf life, really giving it that pure, fresh taste from the beginning of the bottle right through to the end. In terms of how much SeaLicious we should be using, I'm always a supporter of the more omega-3 you use in your diet and have in your diet, the better they work, or the better you feel. At a minimum, we want to recommend about 1,500 milligrams of omega-3 per day for an adult, about 500 milligrams a day for a child under about 10 years of age. However, if you've got any kind of inflammatory conditions, or you're experiencing any kind of health issues, you may want to look at increasing your levels. We know from clinical research that, for example, anybody with elevated triglyceride levels can benefit up to about 3,000 milligrams of omega-3s per day. So it would be between about a teaspoon and a tablespoon of SeaLicious on a daily basis. And again, the more you take, the better they work. Remember, omega-3s work at the cellular level, and we've got billions of cells in our body that need to be built from omega-3 fatty acids. So the more we're using, the greater chance our cell structure has of being rebuilt with these good fats, with these polyunsaturated omega-3s. Well, omega-3s are important. They're actually one of the foundational nutrients that I would recommend. I have a kind of my nutrition mantra for supplementation has always been omega-3s, probiotics to rebuild the cells of the gastrointestinal tract, vitamin D. Those are kind of the three that I look at in terms of what people should be consuming on a daily basis from a supplement standpoint. There are, of course, many things you can add into your supplement regime for therapeutic use, depending on if it's hormones or arthritis, or depending on your need. But omega-3s really are foundational, and the reason is because our body is built out of billions and billions of cells. Cells are built out of membranes, and membranes are built out of fats. And for the last number of years, the standard diet that Canadians have been consuming tends to be high in unhealthy fats. So we're getting a lot of saturated fats, a lot of trans fatty acids, a lot of hydrogenated oils, especially as we see our diets go from a very basic whole food diet to one that's more of packaged and convenience food. And we've really seen this shift, or at least I've seen it in my nutrition practice over the last 15 to 20 years. As people's lives get busier, we tend to have less time to cook. And so one of the things I work with people on is how can we bring our diet back to the basics, and how can we incorporate every time we eat, breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks in between, that we have healthy fats in our diet, because we know these omega-3s are critical at building a foundational cell structure in the body. When our body is built out of these healthy fats, our cells become very flexible and very fluid, and as a result, other nutrients are able to be absorbed into the cell membrane more efficiently. If our diet and our cells are made of very rigid, hard, saturated and trans fatty acids, we're going to experience more joint pain, more inflammation, more cell rigidity, which is going to make it a little bit more challenging for our body to heal. So always one of the first line of defense when we're looking at healing our body is to start with the foundation and start building our body from the inside out, starting with good fats to really replenish and rebuild those healthy cells. Omega-3 supplements have probably become one of the most popular, the most important supplements that people are going into the stores and looking for. And again, this has evolved over the last number of years. It was back in the 70s when we started to hear that omega-3s from fish are good for you. People didn't necessarily understand why that was. However, over the last number of years, our knowledge and our understanding has really risen to a new level. And of course, we've seen recommendations from what we would call mainstream, credible organizations like the American Heart Association, Dietitians of Canada, numerous physicians, cardiologists, recommending omega-3s because they understand the importance for health in general, but specifically on a therapeutic standpoint, from heart health to brain health. There's so much research to support it. And I think the greater the level of scientific evidence to support a supplement, the greater acceptance mainstream will have, and the greater acceptance and understanding consumers will have. And so it's been really exciting for me to see this after being trained as a dietitian, and actually back in the day, fats were considered to be bad. And so it's been so exciting to watch the evolution as we've seen more science being published, more research available to the consumers, and really changing that perspective and changing the perception that no, we actually need good fats in our diet, and omega-3 fatty acids are one of them. And we've also seen people understanding that, hey, look, our diet is not really delivering enough of these omega-3s. So if we take a look at what people are eating every day, as much as we can recommend fish 2 to 3 times per week, the access and the availability of it is just not there for a lot of people. So this has also prompted people to walk into a health food store looking for some of these basic foundational nutrients, and the omega-3 supplements being one of them. And now one of the things that I'm really promoting is ensuring that people are not only taking a fish oil or an omega-3, but that they're taking a high quality one, and they're taking enough of it. Because if you're just taking a very small amount of it, you're not going to really be seeing a difference in your health. So dosage is key. Dosage will make all the difference in the body's response and the improvement in health overall. I have 3 children, and actually one of the reasons I formulated SeaLicious was out of my own passion and seeing my own children use omega-3s. And it was when my oldest son was in preschool, and I was formulating the SeaLicious line, and so I had a great test group of little 3-year-olds and 4-year-olds, and so when I was trying different flavors, I was able to test it on my son's classmates. And when you hear kids respond and say, this is good, and I want more of this, and they're literally licking the spoon, it's really exciting. And so my kids have actually been taking SeaLicious off the spoon since they were about 8 months old, is when I started my oldest on the omega-3 in the liquid form, and they take it every day. And it's interesting, they change through the flavors. Sometimes they're in love with the cotton candy, and then they want to try the maple, and it's been really fun to see them wanting it and actually reminding me that they need to take their supplements, and they need to take their fish oils and their vitamin Ds and their probiotics. And it's really awesome to see my kids growing up in this industry and having such an appreciation and love for omega-3s and for supplements overall. In general, with kids, we look at about 500 milligrams of omega-3s per day. So I usually recommend about a half a teaspoon of SeaLicious for children each day. The SeaLicious Kids, the cotton candy flavor, also contains vitamin D. And so it's a nice way to actually get both into your children in one serving. You can pour it on the spoon and just give it and feel comfortable that you know your child has gotten the vitamin D and also gotten the omega-3. So I usually recommend about a half a teaspoon. If there's any kind of therapeutic indications, learning, behavioral, cognitive issues, you can go safely up to about a teaspoon a day for children. Remember, the more you take, typically the better they work and the better response you get. When looking at taking your supplements, I always recommend starting your day out, of course, with a healthy breakfast and using your supplements first thing in the morning. And with SeaLicious, I recommend taking it with food. Actually, with most supplements, taking it when you eat, it's going to help to prevent any kind of unwanted fish burp back or aftertaste that you might experience. Although with SeaLicious, I can say pretty with 100% certainty, we haven't had any complaints of people having the burp back and the fishy aftertaste. taste. However, if you are somebody that experiences that, it's recommended to take with food. So start your day out right with healthy breakfast, taking your supplements right then and there, and you'll feel comfortable knowing that, okay, you can go ahead with your day. Sometimes if we leave our supplements to take later in the day, we'll often forget because we get too busy, we get home, we get focused on doing other things. So I'm a big advocate of starting your day out with your vitamins. There's so many different options available to moms, to children when it comes to supplements, and especially in the omega-3 category. There's many different wonderful supplements, and this was actually my area of passion, is formulating SeaLicious for the modern day family, for busy moms that can buy SeaLicious and give it to every member of their family, knowing that they're delivering the highest quality, the best tasting omega-3 for each member of their family. So one of the most important things I recommend for moms is to look at giving their omega-3s in the liquid form. It's the best absorbable, easy to deliver source of omega-3 fatty acids, and that's one of the things that I love about SeaLicious. And because we know that kids are and tend to be a little bit more picky with their taste, with their taste buds, we want to make sure that it tastes great, and they can feel confident with SeaLicious that their kids are without a doubt going to love the flavor of it. Of course, quality is important. SeaLicious is a 5-star IFOS certified fish oil, and IFOS is the International Fish Oil Standards Committee, and they have actually set the gold standard for fish oil quality around the world. And so I feel very proud that SeaLicious actually receives 5 stars in terms of its quality. So looking at freshness, purity, absence of any heavy metals or impurities in the oil, that what we say in the bottle is actually in the bottle, and that we're delivering the best possible, freshest omega-3 fatty acid product to moms, to children, and to everybody in their family. And so I feel very comfortable as a mom recommending SeaLicious to other fellow moms out there who are shopping for a product that they know their child will take and will love. Quality is actually one of the most important considerations. Of course, when I talk about SeaLicious, I often focus on the flavor and the taste of it, because as we know, taste is king, and people, especially if they're using something on a spoon, taking it in a liquid form, they want it to taste good. However, with omega-3 fatty acids and with all supplements in general, quality is of utmost importance. And fish oils have come a long way over the last number of years, from back in the day when people were using cod liver oil that was probably rancid, and they still have these vivid memories of the taste and the smell and what they experienced with that. And so over the years, the techniques used to really clean the fish, take out the impurities, take away that really fishy, heavy smell, has really come a long way, and this has helped with the popularity of omega-3 fish oils in a liquid form. And so starting with good quality fish, high quality fish, is really important. That's why SeaLicious is sourced from anchovies and from mackerel, from sardines, these fish species that we know to contain the least amount of toxins. They are the freshest kind of fish. They're the smallest type of fish, so they accumulate the least amount of heavy metals and toxins from the ocean. And because they're small, they're a lot easier to clean, and they're a lot easier to work with in terms of flavoring and taste profile overall. And SeaLicious, the omega-3 oil that makes up SeaLicious, goes through a cleaning technique called steam distillation. And it was one of the original techniques used to clean fish oil back in the early days, and it's kind of stayed true to me. It was one of the first techniques that I learned about. So when I was sourcing my fish oil for SeaLicious, it was really important to me to find an oil that went through that steam distillation technique. So essentially they're passing a vapor of steam through the oil, and by doing that, it allows the impurities to rise above the oil, of which they can then capture them, and it leaves a very clean and very fresh and very stable oil. And that is what we then take and we flavor and add the astaxanthin, those important antioxidants, to keep it safe and keep it fresh. So going through an important cleaning process technique is extremely important with all fish oils, and SeaLicious is one of the purest, one of the cleanest oils, and that's why we're able to belong to the IFOS program and receive those 5-star ratings for its quality and for its freshness and for its purity.